Amanda here from createyourfuture.co. So today we have Katie joining us. Hi, Katie.
Hey.
Guys, Katie is a coach here at Create Your Future, and we have a really amazing, awesome, superb video for you. It is how to go from no contact to constant contact. So again, like usual, there's going to be intentions at the end, so definitely get all the way to the end of the video. As well as if you guys would like to ask me, Amanda, a question, then sign up for the Patreon group, and I do answer them over there on the YouTube Live that I do. So let's dive right into it. So how to create, constant contact. One thing that we want to understand how it works is how everyone is you pushed out works. So I'm going to read something from Neville and in his book, as well as explain sort of what it's not, and then Katie's going to dive into explaining what it is and how you can create the constant contact. So where I'm reading from is Neville's book, Prayer, the Art of Believing, Chapter 5, Thought Transmission. Okay, so this is how everyone is you pushed out works. So your consciousness is the light reflected on the mirror of your mind and projected into space to one of whom you think. By mentally speaking to the subjective image in your mind, you cause the mirror of your mind to vibrate. Your vibrating mind modifies the light of consciousness reflected on it. The modified light of consciousness reaches the one to whom it is directed and impinges on the mirror of his mind. It causes his mind to vibrate according to the modification it undergoes. Thus, it reproduces in him what was mentally affirmed by you. So when I have a thought that Jerry is going to call me, okay, it vibrates in my mind, that little light pings out, shoots into Jerry, vibrates Jerry's mind, and then Jerry says, I need to call Amanda, and then he picks up the phone, he thinks it's his idea, he calls me, okay? So to change your world, you must first change your concept of the world. So to change a man, you must change your conception of him. You must first believe him to be the man you want him to be, or her to be the woman you want her to be, and mentally talk to him as though he were. And also, all people are sufficiently sensitive to reproduce your beliefs of them, as well as all things. So for instance, your computer freezing all the time. That's your computer listening to your mental conversation about your computer never working inside your head. So what everyone is you pushed out is it's not manipulation. It's not, controlling people. It's the actual mechanism of how law of attraction works, okay? So basically, your light of consciousness will ping out everything. If I say, well, I intend for Jerry to buy me a cup of coffee, Jerry hears that, thinks it's his idea, buys me a cup of coffee. If I think, oh, my computer is never working, then guess what? My computer says, oh, Amanda says I should never work, and decides to never work. By the way, I intend for my computer to always work very, very well and quickly. So it is actually the force, and it describes how things in your reality come to be in your reality. Okay, so it's the same thing. If I intend, okay, for the dream house to be built for me, okay, what happens is, okay, for instance, I did just find a house, a very beautiful house, and I wanted it. It was everything that I wanted, but it was built now already. What happened was my thought went back in time. The builders built it to spec the way I wanted it, where I wanted it, and then boom, I ended up showing up and finding it because my thoughts of focusing on this house pinged out to all those people, the developer, the construction worker, the realtor, everybody conspired to make that happen for me. So you're always constantly doing this. So it's not anything that you're manipulating or controlling people because you don't have a choice. You're already doing it. You're the only one in your quantum bubble. Now, the other thing that it is not is it's not a mirror, meaning, okay, if Jerry's a liar, that does not mean there's something wrong with me and that I'm a liar and I have some deep, dark secret that I need to work on within myself, okay? That's a big misconception with this. That's not true. People are not reflecting back your personality traits to you. They're only reflecting back your assumptions of them, okay? So I'm completely perfect. Jerry's a liar. That's because that's my opinion and my assumption of him. So I need to change my assumption of him. That has nothing to do with me if I'm good enough or not. I'm perfect. I was created in the image of God. I am perfect. And I have the power of God. We are all gods, okay, like it says in the Bible and everywhere. So that's what it's not, and what it is.
And so part of like the everyone is you put out and what it really is, I think, I forget exactly how Neville said it, but it's you want to change your conception of the person. So when you're doing the mirror, right, and you're sending this message out to the person, you also want to send it to the version of them that's always within you, that's already you, that's been in love with you this whole time, never left you, right? And it's you waiting to hear from you. So I like to imagine, or I have my clients imagine, just when you're thinking about like, he loves me, he wants to text me, or she, whoever, right? Inside of you, that version of that literally is always thinking, I want to text them, I want to be with them. They're receiving that. They're like getting the A-okay. And because you're now focusing on that version of them, right? What you focus on expands, right? So then you're focusing on it, and then they get to finally get pushed out. Versus we do these intentions, and that version of them's receiving the intention. I'm going to text them, I'm going to be with them, I'm obsessed with them. That's all good, and it's working until we back onto this old version in a sense, and you're pinging back out, but he's not texting me back, but they're not there. It's like you have to choose the conception of the version that you're creating, because only you can create them. They have no free will. The version of them that's always texting you back, that's already in love with you, that's already like with you, that's the one that's receiving that message and is gonna like give you the quickest contact in a sense. Because like you can feel it, that new version of them that's like already all about you, there's a feeling with it. And then that ping goes so quickly to them. And I've seen clients now get like instant contact, like in the session, out of the session, from multiple SPs. It's just once you focus on that conception of them and they get the transmission, it's done. Like
we've had so many people email in right after, they're like, just finished a session with Katie, my SP just messaged me. So awesome. Like, right, there is no waiting. It's just, you're right, they're already waiting there. It's just about focusing on them. I like something you said earlier in our conversation of how, you know, the 3D world's like a mirror, you know, like looking at yourself in a mirror. And I think this is where the world's mirror comes from, is like, you know, when you look at your mirror, you can't comb your hair in the mirror. You've got to comb your own hair to change it in the mirror. That's the same thing. The mirror is your 3D world. You've got to do the work in here to change it out there. It's only going to reflect back to you what your assumptions are. And that's where the world's mirror from, not that there's something wrong with you, right? So, you know, I really like that analogy that, you know, it's going to reflect back whatever, you know, mental work that you're doing, but the person's already waiting for you. There's like every version available. It's just what you choose to focus on in this second, you know?
Yeah. And like, what one are you sending your thoughts to? And so it's like, no, what I keep doing with clients that seems to be helpful is like, stop looking out to this old version. That's just old thoughts, old assumptions. Like they're just the mirror of the old thoughts and stories you had about them. Get in contact with what you want to be in contact with, that is already there for you waiting, that's all about you. And then you can even imagine, like, as you think those thoughts of like, he's all about me, he's going to call me right now. It's like, you can think about them receiving that, like the mirror of their mind is receiving that thought, like stamped onto them. It's going to get photocopied out. And like that feeling of fulfillment can be your proof it's done, right? Because it happens from here first anyways. It's got to be done. It's law.
Exactly. I mean, you know what, and that's pretty much, you know, what it is, you know, is just focusing on who you want them to be and making sure you talk to them in your mind as if they are already that person. There's another myth out there that it only is 80-20, only works 80% of the time, not 20% of the time. Everyone is you pushed out. I mean, that's not true. That's basically like saying that when we create 80% of the time, and again, everyone is you pushed out isn't controlling and manipulating anybody. It is the mechanism for how the law of attraction works. You know what? Even your car is overhearing your thoughts. Every cell in your body is overhearing your thoughts. You want to say you have a bad knee, guess what? You're going to have a bad knee. You want to say that your knees are strong, your knees are going to be strong. You know, you want to say that you have a good, reliable car, you're going to have a good, reliable car. You want to say your car is not reliable and it keeps breaking down, it's going to keep breaking down. By the way, I have a good, reliable car. All of you guys will notice I'm catching my negative thoughts here, right? Creating junk, you know, but like, you know, I mean, you know, everything's overhearing you. That light bulb, you're like, oh, it's going to burn out. The light bulb's going to burn out now. Everything has energy to it and everything's overhearing us, whether it's a post-it note on the wall deciding it doesn't want to stick anymore. You've created that, right? That's a funny example. Stay post-it notes, stay please. Let me just push you down a little bit just to reaffirm I want you to stay there. I can't reach that one up there. Let me get it. Doesn't they go under the desk? It's going to be a fun day.
Everything else. Well, the one thing I've been telling my clients is like, when we focus on these versions of things that aren't working, like a post-it note falling, you're focused on like, I mean, it's just like a lame version versus like the real version of everyone, or at least what I've decided in my reality, the real version of everyone in my reality is totally loving, totally on board with whatever it is I'm intending. Like the real version of them that's just kind of waiting for me to like always focus on is the best version of them for me, right? So like the real version of that Post-it note totally sticks and can totally like do its job. It's what it's here to do. It's what it wants to do.
It's gonna stick for many, well, it's got to stick for at least 3 more months. After that, it's going to get moved. All of them, all 30 of them. Everything important is stuck to the wall, right? Maybe one day we'll do an office tour on my other channel, Jerry's Adventures. Guys, if you do want to check out my life with Andrea, check out Jerry's Adventures. Maybe one day I'll do an office tour and you can see all the Post-it notes. It's like, do you organize yourself in a book much? Actually, no. It's all. I think Andrew used my desk once and he was asking me about all the Post-it notes. I'm like, I need them. He's like, the same thing as all 30 windows on your PC open. I'm like, yes, I need all of them open. You know, someone asked me to close them. I'm like, no, I need all of them. Amazing. So we have some intentions for, oh, so just to recap, guys, you know what? Start, you know, talking and focusing on the person that you want, and, you know, really focus on who you want them to be. And, you know, so it's not all just about, you know, us and saying everyone loves me, everyone It's about creating and talking to the making version of your SP, and you're going to get quicker results when you focus on who you want them to show up for you, right? And keep focusing on that. So like he constantly texts me, we talk all the time, you know. And also what's going to help speed this up are these intentions that Katie has for you.
Let's do it. Okay, so the first one is, I intend my SP changes for me with each thought, right? Or another way to put that is, I intend that I always pick the best version of my SP with each thought. They're always responding to me. I intend to only focus on the version of my SP that meets my needs, right? So part of like we've been talking, you're perfect and whole. You're allowed to say what you need and bring in that version. Just like the Post-it note that sticks, that's what it wants to do. Your SP wants to meet your needs. So call in that one. Okay, I intend my SP always receives the thoughts I send out and responds to me instantly, positively, right? They have no free will. Just send out the good stuff and they will bring it back. It's law. I intend everyone goes out of the way to accommodate me. So it's all about me in your world, right? In your world. I intend that everyone in my world is here to support me and shows up as the best version of themselves for me. I intend I am whole, perfect, and complete, and there is nothing lacking. So just with this one, especially, Amanda and I were talking about earlier, your world is already perfect. It's already done. You and your SP are already back together. You've been together this whole time. Just get rid of any thoughts of lack. They're not real. They don't have to be real, right? Mm-hmm. I intend to know I'm the only creator of my reality. Everything and everyone is malleable to me and only me. You're the only cause. There's nothing out there against you. I intend to expect the best and receive it. I intend to know I'm the only one calling the shots, and I answer my own questions. I intend to trust if I have the desire, it is done, because if I ask, it's already given. I intend to trust my inner world and stay centered in my power, and then it all gets pushed.
Oh, I love those. The other one too I love is that everybody goes out of their way to accommodate me and what I'm looking to create. And that one, honestly, I don't know why I didn't think of it myself. It's honestly changed my life in the last 2 weeks. Like I can't even tell you, like, oh my goodness. Like, you know what, that one almost hit like a mystery block that I had. Like I didn't even think I had it until I started saying that, and things, you know, I was like, oh my goodness, like, wow, this is great. So guys, you know what, these intentions are great. They're absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for being here today, Katie.
Thank you.
And guys, Katie is available for coaching. The link is in the description below. And guys, thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.